It's
All
more
right.
than that,
Oh,
right?
thank
Like
you. I'm gonna go hydrate. Holy
it's
shit, I'm
something
thirsty.
else. Okay. So, uh, I'm gonna read chapter 2. If you haven't read chapter 1, here's what's going on. Um, in the book, we have met a Yuri server named Simon. Now, Simon is 24. Simon is um, Simon is a little bit lost in his life. He doesn't really know what he's doing with it. And when I say a Yuri server, the unique thing about the world in this book is that alcohol doesn't exist. Instead, there's a substance called adulterol. And adulterol is a hallucinogen. And when you drink adulterol, you have a hallucination of a romantic fantasy. So, if you drink Yuri, you're going to have a lesbian fantasy. Simon is not trans. We're going to get to that. Um, so, it should have been about shoes, though, Elle. I agree. It should have been about shoes. Oh my god. Shoes. I actually am not a shoe girly. I like having shoes, but they're so hard to shop for with my foot size. For real, y'all. It is difficult to find shoes that fit these big ass motherfucking feet. Yeah, Simon does look a lot like Simon, that is for sure. Okay, so in chapter 1, Simon is at this Yuri bar serving Yuri, which means that he's the only male who works there. Everybody else is a woman. He's got this amazing boss, Lisa. There's other workers there, and a very intimidating woman comes in and starts bossing Simon around. By the end of the chapter, Simon has been forced or made to drink an entire bottle of Yuri by himself. He is passed out, and he's had hallucinations of he started to dream of flames. He's been in a huge amount of pain. Like something about this particular bottle of Yuri has really ripped him open, and part of what the theme of the Yuri, like the blend, is that it is forced feminization Yuri. It has hallucinogens that are of dreaming that you are a man being forced to be a woman. What a hellish thing to dream about. So, Simon is passed out on the floor of the bar. That's the last thing we got. And now it's time to read chapter 2. So I'm going to read this brand new chapter 2. This is kind of like a preview of what an audiobook would be like. I will say that this is not an audiobook performance. This is closer to a cold read, right? Like I'm just kind of reading this. When we do audiobooks of Aftertaste, we will, use a studio setup and actually take the time to make it really sing. I'm just going to read this into a motherfucking mic. Every time that I make that go smaller, I lose the chat. I probably shouldn't watch the chat. Josie, I'm not going to watch the chat, okay? It's too much for me right now because I'm trying to read the book. Okay. Alrighty, here we go. Chapter 2. Serving. Nothing writhes until it is Simon again. Then Simon regrows his tongue from the ashes and screams. Wait, no, the pain is gone. The thrashing subsides. You lived. Wait. Okay. Still in the restaurant. Good. The room isn't spinning. Good. My breasts are sore, but what? He lifts his neck off the floor and looks down at a body that isn't his. A girl's. He's a. Oh, fuck, I grew tits. No. He opens his eyes. Thank God. All of that was just a dream. He's still serving that woman. She must have sent him back to the kitchen again. Right. Still the wrong glass of Yuri, right? Lisa's handing him another glass. No, Lisa's lifting it to his lips. Wait, the woman is behind him, grabbing his ass. The Yuri is poured down his gullet and he laps it up eagerly. As he drinks, he feels his body soften, breasts growing, hips widening, hair billowing down his back. He takes the glass from Lisa's hands and tips it all the way back and swallows the rest. Good girl, so thirsty, the woman whispers as her hand presses harder into his backside. Fuck, don't touch me when I. No, no, no! She opens her eyes. Thank God all of that was just a dream. How silly to be thinking of herself as a man when she transitioned, what, 15 years ago? And such a silly fantasy, too. She always read those transformation stories when she was too much of an egg to just say she was a woman. She looks across the pillow to the back of the head of her lovely wife, Lisa. Her golden hair is somehow still perfectly wavy after everything they did together last night. God, Lisa is so perfect. She reaches across to stroke her wife's hair. Lisa yawns cutely and turns to face her, and fire burns everywhere, melting flesh. Lisa's eyes are flames. No, no, no! He opens his eyes. Thank God all of that was just a dream. He's in his own bed, hands drifting to his flat chest, his own body. These are hallucinations, but they're much more vivid than the usual lovesick reactions to however much Yuri he ended up drinking the night before. Stupid for a straight man like me to get a job at a Yuri bar anyway. He stretches, yawning, and looks around his space, eyes regaining focus. A small little studio apartment, barely furnished a few months in, but it's his, and thankfully it's his alone. He manages to prop himself up against the wall behind its bed. It's not very comfortable, but he doesn't have a headboard and he can't imagine why he might want one. But past Simon was thinking ahead for once and left him a full glass of water on his otherwise bare bedside table. As he gulps it down, through the bottom of the tumbler he sees a burgundy figure wavering, standing on the opposite side of the room. It gets closer and he shuts his eyes as tight as he can, willing the nightmare to end. Sorry, I had my phone notifications on like a dildo. I'm going to set that paragraph again. As he gulps it down, through the bottom of the tumbler, he sees a burgundy figure wavering, standing on the opposite side of the room. It gets closer, and he shuts his eyes as tight as he can, willing this nightmare to end and a new one to begin. Oh, fuck, it's her. I'm still lovesick, and no, no, no. Good morning, girl. The sound he makes in response would have been a shriek if it wasn't so muffled by the water he's spitting everywhere. Not a dream. Is she really here? You are drooling, girl. Luckily for you, I find that attractive. Why? How attractive? You're in my apartment, he manages to say, wiping away the water he dribbled on himself. Yes, I am. Why? Full sentences, girl. Why are you in my apartment? May I? She asks, indicating the bed. Instinctively, he nods, then immediately wishes he hadn't as she sits alarmingly close to where he's propped himself. In chiding tones, she continues, You, being quite the irresponsible server, drank far too much Yuri last night and needed help getting home. I offered assistance. Your boss, Lisa, I believe, helped you to my car, and I drove you home and made sure you slept well. I didn't. She's twisting this, isn't she? He can't really remember what happened. You made me drink all of that. Did I? She asks, all arrogance and aloofness. But god damn it, why is Simon finding it so hot? Did I really make you do anything last night? Maybe not. Maybe I chose. No, Yes, you did. I remember you. Me kindly asking you to sit next to me? Yes. And then you choosing to sit next to me. Well, you made me sit on the ground like your pet. And then you greedily drinking every last drop of my very expensive Yuri. He had, hadn't he? It had tasted so sinfully good. And then what happened after he drank it? Something happened to me. Did she bite me? He feels his lower lip. Nothing, just a man's lip. Wait, bigger fish, Simon. This horrifying woman is in your home. You need to get out of here, he stammers, with all the confidence of an abused dog. Do I? I need to get out of here. Are you telling me what to do, girl? You are in my house without my permission, and I want you to leave. Not much stronger, but at least my voice didn't crack. She smirks, and when she does, he can't help but look for fangs. Didn't he see fangs with her last night? This morning, her teeth are perfect, flat and not jagged. But her eyes, her eyes! He knows he saw flames roaring inside them, and yet this morning she has normal human pupils with coffee brown irises. Where flames billowed today, he can only find the whites of her eyes. But her face, he couldn't make out her features last night, and while he still finds it hard to look at her, it's because she's a gorgeous woman sitting inches from him, not because she's intangible. Then what the fuck is she? Are you a demon? He doesn't realize he's asked the ridiculous question out loud until after it leaves his lips. She tilts her head to the side, amused. Her earring, a blood-red teardrop, of course, dangles above her exposed shoulder and catches a ray of sunlight as it spins. Yes. And then all of it clicks for him. The very specific bottle, the way she teased out the flavoring, the long pour down his throat after she had bit him, and then the spiraling dreams, each one about transforming impossibly. No way. No fucking way. Whatever you do, Simon, do not voice the next thought out loud. Quickly and eagerly, he answers, "You're going to force me to be a woman." God damn it, mouth. Listen to me every once in a while. It's me, your brain. I swear I'm trying to help. No, sweet girl, I'm not. Oh, good. Wait, she isn't, but what? He was so certain, for almost a moment, that she was there to turn him. Instead of relief, anger floods his brain, and he hears himself asking shrilly, "Well then what the fuck are you going to do to me?" Very, very little, all things considered. But girl, who gave you permission to ask questions, especially with such a rude tone? Do you really believe being such a disrespectful girl to a demon is a smart tactic? She swiftly and decisively stands and pivots to face him, and once again he finds himself looking up at this woman from below. Her lips curl upwards as she demands, "Apologize to me." He fights the urge to slide back under the covers. When she hisses, "Now," it's quiet but firm, and the edges of her eyes are beginning to flicker with the orange flame again. "She is going to kill me. I'm sorry." Girl, you know how much Yuri you consume. I know how much Yuri you consume. Apologize correctly. What does that mean? Oh no. I'm sorry, mistress. Do it again, and this time do not hesitate. "I'm sorry, mistress," he repeats, and he hates that it feels true. Her palms are on both sides of his cheek as she leans in to kiss his forehead and once again purr, "Good girl." 3 points of contact: forehead, left cheek, right cheek. All 3 feel like he's pressed them into a hot pan. When her lips and hands are gone, he misses the pain. No, I don't love this. This is... She grabs his only chair, left on the curb by a previous tenant, and sets it before him, her long fingers clutching the cheap wood alongside the back of it. "So, girl, what happens next in our story?" He stares, surprised by the question. "Do I get to choose?" Her laugh is mocking, but strangely affectionate. "Of course not. But I know that you know what happens next. In the Yuri version, what follows this scene? You have drunk this trope before." He has, over and over, shamefully and privately, but somehow she knows this about him. Well, if she already knows, why pretend like I don't? "You are going to hold me here against my will. I'm guessing the bottle sitting on my table is more of what you fed me last night. and making me drink that combined with what I assume is the venom or magic or whatever is in your fangs will magically transform me into a pretty girl. Or just a girl, anyway. Didn't need to say pretty, did you, Simon? She finally sits, lowering herself to an equal level after looming over him for so long. But when she does, she smiles, and the fangs are back. And why would I do such a thing, girl? What is my motivation? What do I gain from transforming you so? He shakes his head, unsure. He never focuses on the lore. He just likes the part of the story where both women kiss and transform, despite how wrong it is that a man like him should obsess over that. But he has guesses, and he makes them. I would assume transforming men against their will gives you some kind of demonic power, or you just like torture. I don't know. Say I don't know, mistress. He closes his eyes and tries to ignore the giddiness building up from deep, deep within his core, and he obeys, saying, I don't know, mistress. He can't hide from himself that it feels great to say it. Good girl. Fuck, every time she calls me that. Every time she calls Simon a good girl, he believes it a little bit more. She continues, Don't make me remind you again, girl. I won't, mistress. Good girl. But I want you to really, really think about your assumptions about what I'm doing to you. You know that what you said was patently untrue. I may be a demon, but I may even get off on your pain. Just a little bit, you sweet little plaything. But nothing about this scene is torture in any way, and both you and I know it. Does she want him to say that he wants this? That he wants to be magically forced into womanhood by a powerful, sexy demon? No, of course I don't want that. That's... Simon thinks back on all the Yuri he's drunk by himself late at night. He's always admired lesbians, respectfully. Hell, that's probably why he got the job at the bar. Yes, that makes sense. But when he goes home, every night he pours himself a glass and sips it. And none of the fantasies that flood his mind as the Yuri takes over begin with two women, but all of them end with at least that. Surely this must be a fantasy all men have, and not just him. Dudes love ladies making out. All the boys in high school couldn't stop talking about how hot lesbians are. He just got a little obsessed with it. You know, maybe not healthy, but certainly still a normal thing for a man to think about. Women. So, sure, he likes fantasies where a man magically becomes a woman, but obviously that isn't something he wants to have happen to him. He's not transgender. Obviously. I'm not trans. He would be open and proud if he was, but Simon is simply supportive of trans rights, and especially trans women. They need it the most, from what he can tell. Anyway, which is why he reposts them as often as possible on Greengrass. He realizes he's been spiraling along this familiar rabbit hole, this thought pattern that he only goes down so often because he is positive that he is not trans, instead of answering her, which means that she is waiting for a response. Tell the truth, girl, now. Do you want me to make you into a woman? He opens his mouth, but doesn't speak. He can't. It isn't true. So he closes his mouth and softly shakes his head. She slaps him hard across the cheek. Stinging, white, sharp pain. Blood drips from where her nails dug in. 4 tiny rivulets rolling down his cheek. She's gonna lean in and lick it off of me. Oh, fuck, this woman is going to drink the blood she drew my face. God, fuck. But she doesn't. The blood drips down to his bedsheets, staining it. And then the woman stands and turns, heading towards his door. Over her shoulder, she admonishes him with, I thought that we could skip this step. But clearly, you are still too pathetic to say out loud what you so desperately, obviously want. She pauses, then adds a razor-sharp, "Girl." Opening the door and stepping out into the sunlight, she promises, malice creeping in at the edges, "I will see you tonight." And then the door is shut, and his cheek is stinging, and that bottle is on the table, and he is trying to ignore how hard his dick is, and he's alone. The day, spent moving between his bed and other impressive tent holes of his studio apartment, drifts by in a haze. Hours melt as he obsesses over last night, and the dreams he had, and the encounters this morning. His shift starts at 4 p.m., and she is going to be there. I should call in sick. I should quit. I should flee the country. At 3:30 p.m., he catches the bus to work. Tall, gorgeous, blonde-haired Lisa greets him with a hesitant smile. Does she look concerned for me? That's new, isn't it? They're both dressed in the red and black uniform of femme fatale, but of course she makes the vest and tie look immaculate and feminine over her wide and generous frame. It always looks so limp on him. Did you have fun last night? What did she see me do after I blacked out from love sickness? I don't want to talk about it, if that's okay. Please? Yeah, Simon, of course. Only if you want to, kid. She is way too kind to me. All of the time, really. I don't get it. The shift, once he gets started, is an arduously normal one. Mostly women come into the bar, with the occasional dude who looks like he's trying not to leer at them. Fluorescence, as usual, is taking it upon herself to insert her butch presence between any of the men who seem actually threatening and not just irritating. Her buzz-cut hair and take-no-shit stare frighten almost all of them out of the bar without a word. Tonight, there aren't even all that many gross men, and the lack of drama and the lugubrious pace is killing Simon. Where is she? Simon, not staring at the entrance when she comes through the doors at 9:17 p.m. He's just happening to be glancing that way, as he has been doing regularly during his shift. And then she does. Her dress this evening is midnight black. Her hair is pulled back into a bun held by a tamakanzashi. Manga taught him the proper term. Oh god, I am a weeb, aren't I? And on her charm is some dude. Waiter, table for two? Waiter? Who? He blinks. Did she mean him? He's girl. No, wait, he's Simon. Shit, she's staring. Right this way, ma'am. He attempts to say coolly, but as if he never finished puberty, the squeak that accompanies ma'am and the embarrassment of sounding quite juvenile brings an unwanted blush to his cheeks. He hides it as best he can by grabbing two menus and leading the way. From behind, he hears her giggle uncharacteristically girlishly and say, "The service here can leave something to be desired, but the Yuri is divine." Not really a Yuri drinker, babe. The incredibly boring brick of a man on her arm responds, "Well, that is fine. A handsome man like yourself probably prefers something more masculine, if I'm not mistaken." "Yeah, I do." Simon gets the two of them seated at the same table she was at last night, fetching a second chair and reluctantly for the man. Sure, he gets a chair. Muscle bastard, I bet he put on every ounce of brain into those forearms. He's about to hand out the menus when she stops him and chides, "No need. And we did not ask for them, waiter. Don't presume our ignorance. I know what I want. Are you ready to order, Michael?" Big, built, stupid-looking Michael. Simon is vibrating with anger. Why does looking at him piss me off so much? "Yeah, bring me some head slop." A surge of electricity runs through Simon as he prepares to correct this oaf with his slick hair and his chiseled jaw and his annoying muscles, but she beats him to it. "Femme fatale does not serve head slop, you silly goose. This is a Yuri bar. But don't worry, my sweet. I think I know a variety you will enjoy." She isn't... She couldn't... Has she replaced Simon? Did he fail her that badly? Why? Why did he tell her to leave this morning when he so desperately wanted her to stay? Is that true? Why did I think it if it isn't true? Fuck, is it even real? Any of it? We will take 2 glasses of Aunt B's, circa 2004. Promptly, waiter. Do not just stand there gawking. Yeah, make it sober. Make it... I've never made a mistake. Yeah, make it snappy. I'm sober and she's hot. Simon doesn't realize he's stomped all the way back to the kitchen until after he gets there. Michael is, obviously, the worst. Like, Michael is just... ugh. Michael is ugh. But being called waiter by her instead of girl is echoing over and over in his brain. Simon wishes he was girl, like this morning, like last night. But he's not. He's waiter. Without even having to tell Lisa what they ordered, Lisa produces 2 glasses of the same red Yuri Simon drank last night. His hands are shaking as he takes them from her, and only calm when she gently pats them during the handoff. Still fuming, but cooling enough to do his damn job, Simon brings the Yuri to them without spilling a drop and places one in front of Ugg and one in front of her. Will that be? Yes, that will be all, waiter. Leave us be. Simon turns, almost making a complete ass of himself by tripping a bit as he does, and then almost leaps back towards the kitchen. As the saloon doors swing behind him, tears begin to well up in the corners of his eyes. Lisa, taller, bigger, and wider than him, embraces Simon, and he finds himself weeping into her soft, almost motherly hug. Not that my mother was ever warm. Simon, she says, after a few long minutes of sobbing, I'm here for you, but you're starting to get my vest mildly soaked. He pulls back and mutters a few thousand, oh God, sorries, as he grips the counter that happens to have a view of the bar for stability. Between the bouts of tears, he occasionally looks up and sees her laughing, sitting across from Ugg, clearly having an excellent evening with someone she must consider an equal, unlike Simon. And the regret and the shame hit him anew. He's fighting back another torrent of apologies to Lisa and tears for himself when Lisa whispers, I think you should watch this part. Roughly rubbing away some of the streaks on his face, Simon looks up to see Ugg and the woman toast, smile salaciously, and sip their Yuri. Well, she sips. Ugg slams the entire glass without savoring it for a moment. That is going to completely fuck him up, Simon mutters, fiercely jealous of Ugg yet again. I should be with her. Wait, why do I even want that? No, not that. Simon, keep watching. Ugg sits back in his chair, looking nonplussed. He has no visible reaction. Simon waits. At any moment, Ugg will buckle. He'll be hit with the visions, with the pain, with the need to be consumed by the Yuri, chewed up and spit out as something forever altered by it. So why the fuck does he look so bored? The woman sits, sipping occasionally, while smiling and fawning at Ugg as he tells her some bullshit Simon cannot hear. Almost certainly talking about sports. After agonizing minutes of anticipating Ugg to flip and crumble, Simon is shocked to discover her staring back at him, making eye contact. She winks. Simon's entire body quivers in pleasure. He resists the urge to duck behind the counter. And then she's back to grasping Ugg's hand on the table, rubbing it, playfully dancing her nails along his palm. Nothing. How does Ugg not even flinch under that Yuri, that powerful... Eventually, Ugg loudly asks for the check, snapping towards the kitchen. Shaken from his daze, he leaves his embarkment and closes them out. Then, eventually, how was everything? A crack. A seam. Weakness. Ugh, how can you possibly be stoic after drinking that? But Ugg is as solid and as masculine and as boring as he was when he walked in. It was fine. Whatever. I don't like Yuri. Y'all should carry head slop. Y'all ever start carrying Baywatch, I'll be back. He pays the bill. He tips Simon $0, and out the door they go. She doesn't look at Simon once during the entire interaction. She only has eyes for Ugg. She left Simon for Ugg. Lisa's voice surprises him. She really did a number on you last night, didn't she? Too trained to lie, Simon replies, yeah, she did. Why? Oh God, just ask already. Lisa, you know Yuri better than anyone. That was the same one I had. Why was that douchebag fine and why did it wreck me? A long pause. Lisa's blue eyes search his, glance to the front door the woman just left through, and then back to Simon. She looks like she's searching for the gentlest way to say whatever it is she's going to say to him. Finally, firmly, condemning Simon to a life sentence, Lisa whispers, "It's because he is a man, Simon." Immediately, "I'm a man." A long, quiet sigh leaves Lisa's lips, but it's not a condescending one. When it's done, she acquiesces, "Sure." "What do you mean it's because he's a man? I'm a man." Her hands engulf his. She doesn't respond. "Are you saying what? What, that I'm, like, trans or something?" She shakes her head slowly, golden hair drifting alongside her soft and round cheeks. "I only said he is a man, Simon. I'm not prescribing anything about what you are." "Because I'm not trans." "Okay. I'm not. I've thought about it a whole lot, and I'm definitely not." Why am I shouting? Lisa grips his hands tighter. How did he ever never notice how large her hands are? And asks, "You know that I am, right?" His dumbass mouth betrays him. "What? No, you're beautiful. Trans women are. I'd be extremely careful how you finish this sentence." "Fucking hell, Simon. Can you go one day without being weird or awkward or racist or transphobic or a piece of shit? Can you go one day without being the worst person to ever live? But God, Lisa? Lisa is a trans woman? I thought for sure. I thought if I met a trans woman, like a real trans woman in my life, for real, I would know instantly." "If I may," she interrupts, halting another storm of anxiety in his brain. "You were about to imply that all trans women look like men, and that I don't look like a man." No. Simon, I'm not shaming you. I'm speaking from personal experience here. Is that what you thought?" "Yeah, yes." She leads him back into the kitchen so that at least they aren't having this conversation in front of the center of the entire bar. Once they get there, she rounds on him and lectures. Point number 1, trans women are women. So that means that they all look like women. And point number 2, why do you believe that trans women can't be beautiful? He opens his mouth and then closes it. Twice. Is it because you're afraid if you were trans, if you decided to transition, that you would be ugly? I would be the ugliest fucking tranny on the planet. Under her breath, Lisa sighs. God, dysphoria has really fucked your brain, hasn't it? Why does she keep implying that I'm trans? I'm not. Obviously, I'm not trans. Fuck, it would be so much easier if I was trans. It would be so simple if I was trans, but I'm not. I'm just this stupid little cis idiot obsessed with Yuri and burdened with this disgusting gender transformation fetish. A pervert, a freak. She'd hate me so much if she could know how gross and vile I am. Every trans woman deserves to hate me. Fuck off! What a piece of shit. Why are my cheeks wet? For the second time in less than an hour, he finds himself collapsed in Lisa's reassuring embrace, uncontrollably crying. Your shift is almost over. I think you need to go home early. Florencia and I can close. He nods, his head in agreement, into her shoulder, nestling a little bit into the folds. It's so safe here. He doesn't want to disconnect. Why is she still treating me with kindness? I'm a fucking stain. Delicately, she brings him back to standing upright and smirks. Tomorrow, I'm not going to let you use me as a snot rag again, okay? But tonight, I need you to be nice to yourself. Go home and sleep. She pauses, looking him up and down. Simon cannot imagine how pathetic he must appear to her. And, look, for now, don't worry too much about what I said. I may be projecting a bit, okay? When all your problems are fixed with estrogen, every man starts to look like an egg. What? An egg? Do I look like an egg? No, sorry. Early talk trans lingo. An egg is... Okay, well, an egg is a trans person who hasn't figured themselves out yet. Eventually, sometimes alone, but easier and smoother with a lot of help and support, they crack. And once the egg cracks, the person inside the shell gets to come out. She has to stop being nice to me. This is torture. I'm not trans, though. She nods and says, Understood. What matters right now is you get home safely and you get some rest. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Okay. Good. Simon blinks once after the conversation. Entire minutes disappear in a bleary haze, and he finds himself on the bus home. Every time his mind drifts back to the conversation with Lisa, he builds a brick wall inside his head and then gallops away from it as the mortar dries. He thinks about her, and he feels a longing he cannot fathom. He thinks about Ugg, and the jealousy boils in his belly. He thinks about Simon, and Simon. Not waiter. Not girl. Simon. He is Simon. I am Simon, he whispers to himself on the mostly empty bus. I am Simon, he affirms. I am Simon. I'm not a woman. I'm nothing special. I'm nobody, really. I'm just Simon, and that's all I'll ever be. Simon gets off at his stop, pulls his black jacket tightly around himself, and walks the half block to his apartment complex. He climbs up to the third-story room, unlocks the door isn't locked. His hand turns the knob. Slowly, he pushes it open. Trying and failing to sound intimidating, he squeaks, Who's there? I think you know who it is, girl. End of chapter 2. Hi, okay, I'm gonna bring up the chat again. Hi, everybody. Hi, how'd we do? How was that? Ah, okay. I need more water. I'm gonna step away from the camera for just a second, everybody. That was fun. I hope you enjoyed that. I had fun reading it.